Hangin with Denny.
Hey people, Denny here. Oh, super excited. It's an early morning here, so I got some, it's like 11:15. Got some coffee. Hanging with me today is Amanda Bruton. My girl is a writer. She's an actress. She creates her own series, which we'll talk about, which I'm in love with, and you guys will also enjoy. She's touring with the Addams Family from Broadway. Oh, we're going to get into all the stuff. There she is. What's up, girl?
Hey!
Yes.
It is so good to see you.
I know. So good to see you.
So many years.
It's been so long.
So freaking long.
I know. We were just talking about how long has it been?
What year
really?
is it? It's 2019.
Is it 2019?
2019. So I feel like we were doing theater in the Jers back in like the late 90s.
Wow, you're right. Because I grew up in 90s. Yes.
Right?
Yes, that was.
We're not going to say how many years, but it's been many, many years.
Yeah, that was a fun time. We did the theater shows. It was called the Barn, right?
The Barn.
The Barn.
At Thompson Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of you guys know about the Barn. Mm-hmm. A lot of good memories in that place.
So many good memories at the Barn. It was like we'd have the best time.
Yeah.
Like, everybody was, so fun. Angela Knott.
Yeah, love her. Angela,
she would. Am I allowed to curse on this?
You can do whatever you want.
Awesome.
Yes.
I feel like she would kick our ass in the best way possible. Because she was like, because I remember one time she made me cry.
She did?
She did. Because she was like, no, but it was a good thing.
Okay.
Because of the way I was walking down the steps, she's like, you look like such an idiot. She was like, what are you doing? That's not sexy. And I was like, and why are you doing this? She's like, I'm doing this so that when you get to New York and some asshole is mean to you, you can take it.
And that's what she says.
Like, okay.
Yeah, she's tough. She's great, but she was tough. She wouldn't care. She'd give it to you.
She would give it to you, and I loved her for that. I loved her for that.
Well, we should talk. I haven't talked to her. Have you talked to her in a while?
No.
Yeah.
Like Facebook.
I know.
They're on Facebook. That's it.
We got to check it out.
That's how I keep in touch with everybody. Yeah.
So was that when you first started getting into theater, or was before that?
I mean, honestly, I was doing community theater since I was 5.
Yeah.
I started doing it at there was a community theater that existed in Lakewood called the Red Oak Community Music Theater. And I randomly got into it because my parents were trying to get see what I was good at.
Yeah.
They tried me out in every sport. I had zero hand and eye coordination. I couldn't even jump rope.
Right.
And they're like, what are we going to do with her? What are we going to do? And my babysitter was really involved with the community theater. She was like, your daughter's really dramatic. And she's kind of a ham. So can I take her to this audition? And lo and behold, I get myself in the ensemble of Annie Get Your Gun, and I never turned back. I was like, ooh, this is all of this attention and the lights, and I get to stay up late and hang out with adults. I'm into this. I am here for this.
That was it since 5 years old.
Since 5 years old. Yeah.
Did you ever take the brush or do the things in the household
I think so. Yeah. I was always either writing little skits.
Yeah.
Or I was doing dance routines, singing routines, the whole shebang. And I mean, I was an only child, so I had to keep myself entertained.
Right.
I think I'm the funniest person. I can make myself laugh all day long.
Isn't that the best?
It is.
Because I do the same thing. I don't know if it's funny or not, but sometimes I'll just crack up.
Hey, listen, somebody's got to do it. I need to crack myself up. I have to be in this brain with me always. So I might have a good time.
That's awesome. That's so fun. And then you went to the theater.
Yep.
And then, I mean, besides all that, what got you to? You did Shakespeare, right? You did a lot of the Shakespeare stuff.
You've done your homework.
I've done a little bit.
You really have.
But that's something I'm terrible at. I don't know. The Shakespeare and me never went hand in hand.
I mean, it was the type of thing where I think I really got into it. I had my high school drama teacher was super into Shakespeare. And then in college, I did a lot of it.
Yeah.
And when I first graduated, that was kind of where I was doing the majority of my work. That was my bread and butter.
In the parks. I know you did a lot in the parks, right? In the city?
In the parks. Mm-hmm. I did it I did the New England Shakespeare Festival, so that's
awesome.
toured around. I worked with a couple other regional companies doing Shakespeare. And I felt okay. And I remember having a conversation with the late, great Gerald Schoenfeld, who was one of the Schuberts. He was part of the Schubert organization. I used to wait on him at this very fancy restaurant. And he was like, you do musical theater? And I was like, no. He's like, ugh. I was like, I do Shakespeare. He's like, there's no money in Shakespeare. And I was like, all right. And many years later, after he passed away, after I stopped waiting tables, I made a hard left turn and started doing musicals again.
Right.
That's what we grew up doing. But
totally.
I always thought, I'm an actor. I'm not a triple threat. I don't see myself in that world. And then I just kind of happened to fall back into it. Then I book a tour, and then here I am. So I've had my hands in everything.
Yeah.
Shakespeare, musical theater, comedy.
What's your favorite out of all those?
I mean, I think comedy, whether it's musical comedy or straight comedy, is my absolute favorite.
Yeah, totally.
I love making people laugh.
Yeah.
I think, especially in dark times.
Right, totally, I agree.
If you can make people laugh, that's a real way to connect and engage with somebody from, any kind of background, any kind of political belief. If you're able to connect with somebody through laughter and comedy, then you're good to go.
I think
then you have a connection.
That's a great. I mean, I go through life every day like that, right? I mean, there's something going on always.
Yep.
That sucks.
Yes.
Or you're like, what am I gonna do?
Yep.
But if you can try to find the humor in that, then you're that little bit. Then I feel like your day is much better.
And it's a way to disarm people too. If somebody's got up a wall, because I do a lot of teaching.
Totally.
And if the kids are like, oh, I'm too cool for this. I
Yeah.
Do this. Who is this person? If you can make them laugh, then that's like you're in.
Then you're their best buds.
That's it. Exactly.
What do you teach these guys when you're teaching?
So I teach Shakespeare.
To be, everybody says that.
Yeah. I teach them Shakespeare. I teach playwriting.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
And then I also teach filmmaking, stop motion filmmaking, and silent films.
Love silent films.
Right?
Chaplin.
Yes. Well, so I do silent films with fifth graders at this one school. And I remember my teaching partner and I being like, all right, we want to inspire them. They have a sense of what this is. So we're like, let's show them some Chaplin. Let's show them some Buster Keaton.
Love Buster. Love them both.
I was so worried that like in this day and age, the kids, they wouldn't be into it. They were riveted. We showed them there's the famous Chaplin one where he gets stuck in the lion's cage.
Sure. Yeah.
They lost their freaking minds. And
That's
so
great.
now like they want to shoot in black and white.
Cool.
They're coming up with these really cool ideas for it to be super stylized, even if we're doing like the film is set and they're playing a game of like elimination dodgeball.
Yeah.
But this is the silent film and it's very dramatic. So I teach a bunch of different stuff.
You're probably great with those kids doing that. I think that's really, you're able to just be you.
Yeah.
In that kind of setting, right?
And honestly, I feel like I'm constantly reminding myself to take my own advice. Like I hear things come out of my mouth when I'm teaching kids things, and I'm like, right, you need to remember that the next time you go into an audition.
I totally agree.
I mean?
Understand that completely.
Yeah.
Because you can give it so easily.
Right.
And then you'll sit at home and like, why don't I just do what I tell other people to do?
Yes.
I know what I'm telling them.
Exactly.
Why don't I just do it?
It's so hard to put it into practice sometimes.
Why do you think that what is it? I don't know what it is.
Like you get in there, you're in the moment, you're
Yeah.
nervous or whatever, and I'm like, what do I always tell the kids? Like, just be yourself, don't care, breathe, have a good time, and then meanwhile I'm like, so I'm like, right, you gotta please take your own advice.
That's great. And you're teaching like right after here, right? You're going to go teach?
I am, yeah.
That's great.
I'm going into Oceanport to do like a 2-hour masterclass, if you will, about the Addams Family.
Awesome. Let's talk about the Addams Family. So Amanda toured with the Addams Family. Wait, I just want to say before you talk about that, I love this. This was one of my favorite quotes. I think it was on your website. Yeah. I don't know who said it though. They go, Amanda Bruton nearly steals the show as grandma. Now this is what I like though. Played like a salty, funky, ancient hippie, just old enough not to care what comes out of her mouth.
Yes.
I feel like that's grandma, that's Connie.
Yep.
Like there's a lot of that going on.
It's a lot of that. People were like, because Grandma Addams is 102 years old. And I was at the time in my early 30s playing it, and they're like, "So how were you able to connect with that character?" And I was like, "Cause Grandma is like no bullshit. She doesn't care.
Yeah.
She has lived 1,000 lives at 102. She's been alive for like a century.
Right.
And she has a fierce love for her family." I was like, I feel like that's a character that a lot of people could relate to. And it honestly, the most fun thing is that like I really could get away with anything. I could say whatever the hell I wanted to do on stage. The cast was like, "What are you?" Like they never knew what was going to happen.
That's the best.
Well, yes.
That is and it keeps it right. You do a show all the time. I travel with the Globetrotters, so it was the same as the Encore MC. Same thing, right? You do the show, it becomes like a Broadway show. Yep. So, like you, I would come out and throw them off in tutus. I would come out, or something that would keep them just exciting.
On their toes, right? Yeah. You have to. So I had such a blast, and that show took me all over the world.
Yeah,
I was out
fantastic.
with a tour for like 18 months.
Wow.
So we were all over the U.S., and then we spent 2.5 months in Asia.
How was that?
It was amazing.
Did they understand you?
So, Excellent question. So we were in Singapore for the first part, and that English is one of their main languages.
Okay.
So they're,
Right.
But then we started doing it in mainland China. And so they had subtitles either like on either side, like there were screens on either side or above. And we would be, we'd be doing the show, and however the subtitles were rolling in terms of time, either they would laugh like a couple minutes after the punchline, before the punchline.
Right.
Very rarely was it like really hitting it on the nose.
Right,
You would
right.
just sort of be like, are they gonna? Okay, we're just gonna keep going.
Did that knock you off or anything, or did you just you roll with it?
Had to go with it.
Yeah.
And there were some jokes because the Addams Family is such like a piece of American pop culture.
Yes.
There were some jokes that were kind of like lost.
Sure.
Because it's just a little bit different. But they freaking lived for us. I felt like I was Jennifer Aniston over there. Like, you come out, we had to do these meet and greets every night. Like,
fun.
Velvet rope, 15 people deep, taking pictures, asking for your auto. I was just like, and then after this, I'm going to have to back to New York and sit at the Equity Building, and I'm nobody.
Right.
But here,
Yeah.
I'm a star.
Yeah, and milk it as you should. Yes. How was the makeup for that? I loved your face. You got to still check out, the costume and the face.
Yes.
Did you do the makeup?
I did. They trained me to do it.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, pretty nasty.
It was pretty nasty. It was pretty disgusting. It was a mix of like age makeup, and then I had a couple of prosthetics, like my eyebrows.
Oh, you had to put them on too.
I did. I had to like glue on the eyebrows, and then I used to call them my raisinets.
Yeah.
But
The
I
teeth?
had these like the teeth.
Those
the
things.
teeth wasn't a thing. That was just like it was a polish to make it look like my teeth were rotted.
Yeah. Look good though. It looked real
looks
good.
It's so nasty. And then I had these like warts or moles that I would have to glue on.
Oh right. Yeah, I remember that.
Like looking in a little thing, like it looked like you could just pop them into your mouth like chocolate.
Yeah.
And I think one time I did that. Like I glued a raisinette to my face and copied it, and the cast lost their freaking. Like they were like, "What is she doing?"
Yeah, that's
I was like,
so
"Oh, my mole fell off," like.
I love that though. But that's what live theater or doing live shows. That's what's fun about doing all that stuff.
Yeah.
Or trying to get people. Remember we, just trying to get people to break.
Yes.
Or trying to just do things that only you guys might know.
Yes.
Right.
100%.
That was great. And you toured for almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years. And when I first started doing that makeup, it would take me like an hour and a half, from like start to finish. But by the end,
How long?
I could do like 30 minutes.
Oh, 30 minutes. Okay.
30-minute grandma transformation. And everywhere, a lot of times for press, they loved seeing, because I was so young.
Yeah.
So young. Because I was so young, I would go out to these press events where they'd be like, "We want to watch you transform into grandma."
That's awesome.
People are super interested in that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, it's cool. It's fascinating. I love it. It's like
is.
behind the scenes and all. I love seeing somebody transform into, whether it's a character or you're doing something, or you just can see the setup or how long it takes. Nobody really knows how long all that stuff takes.
Nobody knows how long it takes. And it's so funny because, we grew up in this, right? Like, we know what it is. We're used to it. And I think you forget sometimes that people who aren't into it are really interested in all those different elements.
Totally.
How does it all work?
Yeah.
Like, people always love to come and do like backstage tours.
Love it.
Because in the Addams Family, we had a lot of tricks in terms, like there was some magic and some puppetry, and people were always like, "How does this work? It's all shadows and lighting, but it looks like it's floating. It's amazing."
Is that it? Cousin It?
Yep.
Somebody was in. That's got to be a horrible costume.
Cousin It was just a giant puppet.
Oh, it was a giant puppet. There it is. Little magic.
But then they had this monster under the bed that the bed would move across the stage, and that was an actor. Somebody was actually in the thing, like having to be in this bed and like crawling across the stage, moving this. It was
like the entire show.
Just for one scene.
Oh, because imagine being under the show like the whole time and trying to do all that stuff.
I think they all had like back and neck issues afterwards because they were like, "Well, I'm like this, and I have these giant puppets that I gotta move."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. You just it's like a family. All you guys are just, how it is. Just so fun together.
We were like a merry band of misfits.
Yeah.
And I had never been on tour before, and you would think with like that many, dramatic types, you're like, "Oh, this could go one of two ways." And we really were like a family, and a lot of those people are still some of my closest friends. And to have the opportunity to travel and do such a fun show and see the world and be doing what you love at the same time, to be paid to travel all over the world.
It's amazing.
Is pretty freaking awesome.
Did you travel by a bus a lot or plane or both?
Both.
Okay,
it was both, yeah.
The Addams Family bus pull into town and all that.
Yes, we did.
Big logos. They're definitely here.
They're here. They're They're creepy and they're here. Yeah.
I love it. So after doing that, then you kind of segue into film, right? Was that kind of after?
I
Which was
did.
one of my favorite things. Was my wife and I were watching The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel,
good
right?
one.
And it's like the maybe second or third episode of the first season. One of them, not sure.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, there's a prison scene, and there's you.
There's me.
This great scene.
Covered in blood.
Covered in blood. I won't give anything away, but it's a fantastic
Yes.
scene. I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And then from there, you're in Billions. You're talking about Orange Is the New Black.
That's coming
But real
up.
quick, let's
Yep.
go back to the film. You know,
Yeah.
how's your transition from
So
theater?
right yeah,
To, like, right here.
to right here. I know it's a tough transition because
Yeah.
I feel like I'm such an expressive actor when I'm on stage. You know, I'm going from playing Grandma Adams, which is like waka waka waka. You know, your face is
Right,
huge,
right.
to this, and so I feel like that was it was a tough kind of transition for me to go from okay, if I'm on film, I'm just not going to do anything and hope that you understand what I'm feeling, to then being like, okay, I have to take that same sort of like energy and intention,
Yeah.
and just
It's tough, right?
Yeah. But so I feel like in those couple of years while I was away, and then coming back in 2014, 2015, the industry changed so much in New York. I mean, it used to be that Law and Order was the only game in town.
Yep.
Or a couple of films here and there. But with the streaming platforms, the industry has exploded.
Totally, yep.
It is such a great time to be an actor in New York, because if theater was always your first love, you can still do that. But now you have all these TV and film opportunities.
Which wasn't like that because LA was a spot to go. I was in LA for a bit.
Yeah.
And that's where you went for the film and TV and commercial stuff.
Right.
But you're right. Out here now, there is so much more.
There's so much.
Finally.
Yeah. And so it was like, you know, I came back and I was going out for some theater auditions, and then my agent started sending me out for television, and I was like, okay. And I booked the first thing that I had ever auditioned for, which
What was that?
didn't make it on the air. It was this show called The Nick with Clive Owen. It was
Nick.
on Cinemax. It wasn't that
Skinemax.
It wasn't that
Hey!
kind of show. It wasn't that, but everybody was like, "You're on Cinemax." I'm like, "I know what Cinemax is. Cinemax After Dark." You know, it was like not that kind of show.
It was early morning.
Yeah. But I booked that first thing. I worked with Steven Soderbergh.
Well, how cool is that?
That was freaking
How is he?
incredible. He was
He's-
so nice.
Yeah, he's awesome.
He was like one, and they even warned me before I got on set. They're like, he's gonna do 2 takes, and that's it, unless you're doing something wrong. And I was like, oh, okay. And so it was like I was on set for like 15 minutes.
Wow.
And they were like, okay, great, you're done. That's it. But then they cut my whole scene.
Yeah, it happens. It happens.
And I feel like it was a really good lesson, like since it was my first time, because I
Yeah.
was like so excited.
Right,
like,
right.
Hey, everybody, watch
I'm gonna
me.
be. That's
No.
the worst, right?
Crickets. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So it was a good lesson for that to happen that early on, and then I just started going out for more stuff, and little by little booking all these small co-star roles. And
Where'd you play a
really
cop?
loving
Was
it.
that Billions?
I played a cop on Billions.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually, an ICE agent to be specific.
An ICE
I was
agent. An
deporting
ICE
people.
agent.
Yeah. And then I played a cop on The Punisher.
Right, The Punisher. Yes.
I'm going to be playing a cop on the upcoming season of Search Party on TBS.
Oh, TBS.
Yeah. That's that show with Alia Shawkat from Arrested Development.
Okay. I love that
The
show.
one, yeah. It's funny and dark and weird.
And you're playing a cop again. You're getting these cop roles.
Right. And in The Nick, which, like I said, it never made it to television, I played a prisoner. So I'm playing like both sides of the law. Like I'm either a cop or
Yeah.
like a guard or I'm in prison.
Either behind the bars, in the bars.
That's it. Exactly. So then when I booked Orange Is the New Black, everyone's like, "Oh, well, clearly you're an inmate or
Yeah.
you're a guard."
Oh.
And I'm like, "I'm neither."
Ooh. Can you tell us what it is?
I mean, I can't say too much because if you're not caught up,
Oh, okay. So it's
I don't want to ruin anything. But my storyline takes place outside of the prison.
ooh.
I know.
Ooh, you're dating somebody.
No, well, not quite. I work with someone. I work with.
Okay, you work with somebody?
I work
Oh.
with somebody. But it was. I mean, this sounds so stupid. But I was when you're an inmate or a cop.
Yeah.
And you're in the makeup hair and makeup chair. They're giving you like a make under. They're literally like, okay, we're gonna take the shadows under your eyes. We're gonna make those darker.
Yeah.
We're gonna like make your hair look terrible. We're gonna just make you look like tired and like washed up. And I was like, okay. So for this, they were like, oh, we have all these great wardrobe items for you. We're gonna do real hair and makeup, and I'm like, I've never had this before. This is so exciting. You know, I go from grandma to playing a cop to playing a prisoner, and now I get to play like a normal gal.
Oh,
you know?
I can't wait for that. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
It's
that episode was directed by Andrew McCarthy, which a child of the '80s.
Wow.
I was like, oh my god, Pretty in Pink. I'm kind of losing my mind. Right
Yeah.
now.
Did you have fun with that?
Cool.
Did you have fun?
Fun.
That's
so fun.
And that's coming out the new. Where we at? 2020 or 2019?
2019. So they just finished shooting.
Okay.
And this is the last season.
Yeah.
Officially the last season. So it should be out sometime this summer. I'd
Did-
say summer or fall. Yeah.
Did you watch the whole show? Do you like it?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good show.
I feel like those first couple seasons
They were fantastic.
Nearly perfect.
I didn't make it past the second one. I don't think.
Okay, that's okay. It kind of, for me, the show like went like this.
Yeah.
But this last season, season 6, was, I really feel like they kind of got their mojo back, and I watched it just being like, well, listen, I hadn't booked yet, but I was like, I'm going to keep watching. I'm going to stay current because I am going to be on this freaking show before it goes off the air.
Yeah,
mark my words.
That's great.
And
what do you? How many episodes are you on it?
I'm only on one.
You're on one episode.
I was hoping for multiples. I was only on one
Well,
episode.
hey,
It's okay.
one episode's amazing.
Right. Yes. I will take it.
Yeah.
Abso-freaking-lutely.
Yeah.
I had been in for the show probably like 5 or 6 times.
Oh.
And
so they liked you. They were trying to figure
did.
out where to put you.
And I walk in the last time, and the casting director's like, we didn't cast you last season? And I was like, no. She's like, never? And I was like, I would remember. And she's just like, all right, hopefully we're going to get you in on this. But as an actor, you're like, yeah, they say that to everybody. And then, lo and behold, I booked it. You know?
That's awesome. Well, congrats on that. Well, I can't wait to watch that. That's going to be so cool.
Yeah.
Now, talk to me about this comedic short that you wrote. Right? It's what is it? Nevertheless, she auditioned.
Nevertheless, she auditioned. So I co-wrote this short and produced it and also directed. I'd never directed before. It's about 4 minutes. And it is about gender inequality in the audition room.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
A lot of people in the industry will understand.
They will.
That.
And I mean, I think people in any industry can totally relate.
Right.
But when you put it in the audition room with the power dynamics involved and everything, I think people have no concept of how terrible it can be sometimes.
Yeah.
And the gendered things that are said to people, to women in particular. But at the same time, I was like, okay, this is a somewhat serious topic. I'm not a super serious person. So how can we do this with a little bit of comedy and a little bit of laughter?
Right.
So what we do is we reverse the narrative where you've got 3 women of color sitting behind the casting table, auditioning all white men. And everything that's coming out of their mouth is based on something like a real comment or critique that women had heard when they were in the audition room.
Sure.
And how the men react to it and everything. And then there's a twist ending. I won't give it away.
Yeah.
But I was inspired by Tracy Ullman. Tracy Ullman did this incredible sketch a couple years ago.
So I haven't seen her in a while. She used to be great,
she's
right?
so
she is
freaking
amazing.
She's and just in terms of how much she just doesn't care.
Right.
She doesn't care about the way she looks. Like she does male, female, young, old. Like she is a chameleon and really, really smart comedy.
Yeah.
So she had done this sketch where she was a female detective interviewing a guy who had been mugged. And she starts asking him all the same questions that detectives ask women who've been assaulted.
Right.
And it was funny. But you were just, and the guy's like, what do you mean? Why are you asking me what I was wearing? And I was like, that's so smart to swap everything.
Yeah.
So that's where we
It's
came up
clever.
with the idea.
Oh, that's awesome.
So we premiered at the Women in Comedy Festival, which is
cool.
sponsored by HBO last spring. And then we kind of did the festival circuit for a few months. We
Sure.
won a couple of awards.
Wow.
Got really, really excellent feedback. And now we are gearing up to finally release it online later this month. It is Women's Month or Women's History Month.
Right.
What's today? Thursday. Tomorrow is International Women's Day. And then, so tomorrow we're going to be announcing the release.
Cool.
We're planning a big screening event later this month. We're going to screen the film, which is only 4.5 minutes. So people are like, "What are you doing?"
That's great. No, it's awesome. I love short films.
So we're going to do. We've got some of the women who are in it are going to do some stand up and some entertainment.
Cool.
And then we have a really awesome industry panel to discuss not only what you see in the film, but just some of the issues that women in the industry are facing. Period. But we want to just broaden that dialogue, but also do it in a light and fun way at the same time.
Right,
That's
right.
how I like to talk about serious stuff.
No, I agree.
I kind of like to. I'm like, it's serious, but let's also have fun because
Yeah.
I don't want to get too mired down. That's my MO.
I totally agree. Like I can't like I don't know. You have to have fun with it or anything. That's serious
Yeah.
going on. You have to kind of find the comedy in it to
Right.
loosen everybody up. Are you in this one too?
I'm not.
Oh, you're not in it. So you
I wasn't.
You just
no.
directed it and
I
wrote
just
it.
directed and wrote it and
Wow.
produced it.
And produced it.
Yeah.
Sure. Did you like that?
I did. It was, you know, I felt really confident that I could direct the actors because I'm an actor.
Sure.
But when it came to any of the technical stuff, I was just kind of like, that looks great. I don't know, but I learned so much. And I worked with a DP, that's a director of photography for the lingo.
Yep.
If not everyone is caught up. We worked with an entirely female crew, which was also really important to us. So
Sure,
we had
very
female
cool.
DP, female director, female grip, female.
I love that.
Like,
I think
all
it's
of it.
great. Yeah.
And I said to her, I'm like, listen, I can talk to the actors. I am not going to have any idea what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Just you guys do your gig.
So, she was like, listen, I can speak to you in a way that you'll understand. I've worked with other actors who have made this transition into directing, and we can communicate. I'm like, great. And it was awesome. And I learned so much about like the importance of sound and lighting.
How important is sound? Well, sound and light. Yeah, I mean, just
sound is literally more important than anything.
I guess.
Like lighting, you can always be like, well, this is a choice. This is a mood. If you can't hear, when there's all this, like it's over. It's just over.
It's the worst. Yeah.
Yeah.
The technical stuff makes me sweat. Anytime anything technical, I don't like the technical stuff
know.
either. But it's good to know it all.
It is
right.
really
It's
good
really
to
good to know it all.
Yeah.
And I love that you guys used all women. I love.
Yeah.
There's everybody. Women and men do. I think if you're awesome and you're a chick or you're a woman, good. Awesome.
I know.
Do it.
I know.
That doesn't. If you're awesome at it, whether you're a dude or a girl or a guy,
Yeah.
awesome.
I think it's
Do
that
it.
the industry has moved at such a glacial pace.
Yeah.
It's like, Catherine Bigelow won an Oscar, and we're like, and she's the only director who ever won, and only like 7 women ever were nominated. And that's why I think a lot of people were really excited about the Oscars this year, because so many women won in categories that they had never won in before.
Right.
And when you look at like all of the Best Picture nominations over the years, how many of those films have like male main roles versus women?
Sure.
How many people? How many lines? How often do the men speak versus how often do the women speak? And it's just everybody is aware of the issue, but it seems to be moving so slowly. And so I think we're not going to be able to do it without men. Women can't. You just can't do it on your own. We need
Right.
men to stand up and be like, okay, I'm going to make the conscious choice to hire a female director or to hire a female writer or to tell a story with a main female character. Like it's going to take everybody working together.
Well, you hit on the nose. I mean, everybody relax.
Yes.
Relax.
Yes.
Work together.
Yes.
Create something amazing and have fun.
Right.
I love it.
Absolutely.
One more thing I want to talk about that, Red. What's still uncastable? I was doing a little bit on that. I couldn't find too much.
I know. I actually haven't released too many videos. But I need to. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah. Put them out, girl. Put them out.
I wrote, the first version was uncastable. The second version was still uncastable. It's a solo show about one of my favorite topics, as you're hearing, women in the industry and fighting the Hollywood casting mold, if you will. And it's not only the second time, the first show was like very personal about my personal experience in the industry. The second one, I really wanted to appeal to a broader audience and talk a little bit more about what it feels like to feel uncastable in your life. Doesn't matter if you're an actor, if you're a doctor, if you're a teacher, you're a mom, whatever it is. How all of us have moments where you're just like, I don't know if I fit in here. And that's okay.
Right.
And this whole idea of like constantly feeling like you've got to fit into these molds. And I feel like now is something that we're talking about.
Well, especially with social media, right? And so many people with they feel like they have to have 1 billion likes, or I don't fit in, or if I don't do this, that's hard for a lot of people.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Or you're sitting home and you're looking on social media and you're seeing, this person's traveling here, or they're booking this, or they're doing that. And we all know that we're putting our best selves on social media. And
is it our real selves?
Right. And meanwhile, people are like, oh, you look like you're doing something awesome. I'm like, I'm home sitting and eating Sour Patch Kids on the couch, being like, I didn't book that job, but I don't post about that.
I know. I know. All that stuff, I know. I feel like we should post more of that stuff.
I feel like we should.
Like, I kind of don't, it's just good to see everybody posts the best. You know, everybody's got shitty times, right? Everything. Nobody lives that life, you know?
Yeah.
But I get it. You post up that, I think of it as like, I want people to have fun when they watch this.
Right.
I don't want to bring people down and be like, oh, you know what I mean?
No.
But I understand, like, you need to show a little bit of real versus,
Yeah.
you know.
And and I'm sure people in any industry feel this way, but in particular in our industry, even when you're just having a one-on-one conversation with another actor, people are like, "What are you doing? You have a show coming up?" And so it's this constant thing of like, "What's next for you? Are you working on something?" And people are always like, I'm in a I'm in a
I'll never
class."
ask that question because I know
started doing that. I started to be like, "Hey, how are you doing? How's your summer? How's your winter? Like, what's up?" Instead of constantly, because you just never know. And now that I do that, and I feel people not asking me what's up, and I'm like, but I actually have all these things that I want to tell you about. So can you ask me what I'm doing? Instead of
That's funny.
Having to be like, well, I'm doing this, and I'm doing,
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, it's a balance. You can work it in there cleverly.
Work it in.
Orange is new. You said no. I wanted to know if you wanted an orange. I thought you meant the show.
Right. So that is a lot about what the show is about. And feeling like I never quite fit the casting mold. And then people are like, but wait a minute, didn't you just book a lot of shit this year? And I'm like, yes, but that doesn't mean that's still, the struggle is real. It's still real. We've all still been there.
Yeah.
And I really feel like, especially, and I think we've talked about this before, now more than ever, it is so important for people to make their own work. You can't wait for somebody to give you permission to act or to write or to direct whatever you want to do. So whether you're writing a one-woman show, whether you make a script with your friends and you film it, and I know it's easier said than done and everything costs money. I get that. But even if it's you get a bunch of your friends together once a week to read a play, like whatever it is, to keep those creative juices flowing, you cannot wait for somebody else to do it.
I 1000% agree with that.
You know?
You got to do it. If you want to do it, don't sit there and pout because you can't. Make something. Do something.
Yeah.
And speaking about making and doing something, Connie, Big Balls, Bumbalone.
Oh my goodness.
This is a character that Amanda created. One of my favorites, by the way. The name is Connie, Big Balls, Bumbalone.
You got it right.
Right?
You did. Yeah.
Just talk to me about where the idea came from. It's a North Jersey. She makes me kind of cringe.
As she should. It's like she makes you cringe, but you can't stop watching. Right?
Exactly.
And you know this person. Like she either exists in your family, in your neighborhood, especially if you grew up in Jersey. Like it's something a lot of us can relate to. So she's inspired by several characters in my family.
Yeah.
I've always kind of wanted to figure out.
It's your family.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Says a lot.
I know my last name is Bruton, but my mother's maiden name is Novello. So they're like first generation Italian,
Yeah.
It's inspired by that. And also I love that Connie's she's a little bit of an anomaly in that you would probably think that she's conservative in a way. She's like a Roman Catholic wife. Sure. But at the same time she loves drag queens.
Right.
So she's constantly walking that line between being like, well, my husband is a Trump supporter. I kind of think he's an asshole. And if they're not going to support the gays, then I'm not a part of it. But she's going to church every week. She's going to confession. So she has her limits.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that people can relate to.
Totally.
Where you're kind of like, well, I'm not this, but I'm also not this. I think so many of us are right there in the middle, and I kind of wanted her to capture all of those things. And she just says whatever the fuck she wants.
She does. She does.
She can kind of get away with anything.
I mean, you guys will check it out. We'll put up links and all this fun stuff. But I mean, you've done stuff where you're cooking for Thanksgiving. Yes. Obviously, it was Valentine's Day. Yeah. There was the you talked about Trump. I mean, you had a lot of different positions that. Connie has taken.
Yes. Yeah.
But how does your family think about Connie?
Oh, they live for it. They live for it. They love to be that they're the inspiration.
Yeah.
I either call my mom or I call my Aunt B, and I'll be like, here's what Connie's going to talk about. Tell me what you think. And I'll usually pick and choose some things to put that in there, and then I put my own spin on it of how she feels about whatever the topic of the week might be.
Does somebody say, no, wait, we've never done that? Or does somebody always give you ideas? Is there somebody in the family that...
in terms of what I'm going to do?
Yeah.
I mean, We've definitely, she's talked about a lot of holidays.
Right.
Then we had the whole election of 2016.
Sure.
So we did some stuff around there. Then cooking is obviously a big part of her life. The next thing that my co-collaborator, James Michael Avans, who is freaking brilliant, and Connie wouldn't exist without him.
Right, sure.
He directs and shoots and edits like he's a genius.
Yes.
I show up with my costume, the idea, and a bunch of props, and he makes it look like $1 million.
Do you write a script out for that, or you improvise a lot of it?
So it's a mix.
Okay.
I usually will outline what I want to talk about,
Sure,
and then improvise on top of it. And usually everything that's improvised ends up in, because the stuff that you do like just off the cuff is always
it's the best.
It's the best. It's so you're like, where did that come from?
Yeah, yeah.
But we work really, really well together. I think his editing style is key too.
It's great.
And so we don't necessarily like to do the same thing every time. Like we've kept a similar format for a lot of them, but we're branching out a little bit more now. We might start doing like much shorter clips.
Well, they're not that. I mean, I think you're about 4 minutes, right?
Usually about 4 minutes is roughly where it lives. But these days, people have such a short freaking attention
They have no
span.
attention. They have no attention span.
And if you have to hit a link to take you somewhere, I'm like, oh my god, okay.
Yeah.
You got to make it very, very easy.
Totally.
So I think the next thing Connie is exploring is she's trying to understand what an Instagram influencer is.
Oh boy, that's gonna be funny.
And then become one. She also says, she thinks that she is the original Instagram influencer.
Yeah.
But that's another story.
Oh, that's so funny. Hey, you never know. I mean, Connie might be around
show
today.
We are in Jersey.
It's
totally
Doesn't take her
possible.
that long. This is south. She's a little north from here.
That's right.
We'll see.
Pop on the parkway, you know.
I had a question.
Yeah.
What is something everyone looks stupid doing?
But everyone looks stupid doing. Pooping? I don't know.
It's a fantastic answer. Because how do you look cool doing that?
How do you look cool pooping? I mean, if you look cool pooping, props to you. Because, listen, if you're Gwyneth Paltrow, maybe, I don't know.
I bet you even her face is...
Like, I'm so sorry. That's such a potty joke.
That's a fantastic answer. I love my questions. If animals can talk, who do you think would be the rudest?
Monkeys.
Monkeys? Why?
I think so. Well, because first of all, they're super smart.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're always like hitting one
They're
another.
dicks.
They're dicks. Like they're really, mischievous.
Yeah.
And so I think that they would be rude, and they'd just be like, "Fuck you, get out of my way, give me that banana." You know?
Or just pull it out of your hand.
Take it out of your hand. Like, boom! They're gonna smack you across the face and take your banana. Yes.
What would be the absolute worst name to give your child?
Ooh. That's hard. Okay, let me think about this.
I'm throwing you a little bit.
That's a hard one. The worst name to give your child. What if it's like... Oh, I know. And it's a short name.
Yeah.
I hate when people call someone who's named Richard Dick
Yeah.
for short. I know it was a thing back in like the 50s and 60s,
Yeah.
like Dick Van Dyke, Dick Van Patten, but I'm like, you name your kid Dick. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? So Dick, I think, is terrible, and it exists.
Yeah.
It exists.
It's a fair answer.
It is.
And it is. That'd be yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think, is it dick better or is apple? There's apples and
There's
fruits
apples
and
fruits
pears and
like cocoa and like all that kind
flavors.
Of so bad.
Yeah, I guess if your name is Dick.
If your name is Dick.
It's Dick.
Oh, what's your name? Dick.
Dick.
That's so aggressive. Put that away. Put yourself away. My God.
I'm gonna call you Paul.
Oh my, right.
What's the most embarrassing thing you've ever worn?
Ooh, the most embarrassing thing I've ever worn.
Come on, you've put on some funky things in your
I
day.
have put on some funky things.
Back in the day,
Let me think about this.
currently. No, I like the jacket.
No, but all right. So I would say I was in a community theater production of Godspell back in like the early 90s.
Yeah.
And, usually they want like a circus type feel
Sure.
for Godspell. I had these lime green tights, like lime green that make you want to puke just looking at them. Then I had a leotard on, a tutu, and some crazy kind of hat. Like, it was just a mess.
That's a good visual.
It was just a mess. I'm trying to think if there's anything that I've worn recently that was just like a...
Not in the show. Maybe you're just, I'm going out in the city. I'm chucking on.
I did have this, and I thought it was so cool. It was this like velour suit.
Oh boy, the velour.
Black pinstripe, and then this like ruffly like shirt.
Was it Connie's?
Nope. This is long before Connie. And I think I got it, you know, sometimes if it's a brand, you're like, oh well, if it's Guess or if it's
right.
BCBG, then it must be fabulous. It wasn't fabulous. I think I mean,
What color was it? What did you say the color was?
It was black.
It was
so
black.
Not terrible.
Not that maroon. There's a lot of those maroon.
Yeah. And I used to like flat iron my hair and wear these like platform. I don't know what I was thinking. It was terrible. Terrible.
I'd like to see a photo of that.
I will. I mean, thank God
thank
God social media didn't exist when I was younger because I don't know where I would be.
I know.
I don't know.
Is it weird? Isn't it weird that to say like, well, back in our day, we never had any of that stuff though.
No.
Barely had a computer.
I know. There wasn't a computer in my house until I was in high school.
Yeah, me too.
And I look at some of these pictures now. It's fun to go back and look at pictures, and I'm like, thank God this shit's not on Facebook. Thank God.
But now you take a photo of it and then put
you put it on Facebook, which I've been known to do. So,
one of my favorite ones. It's always sparks some, interest.
Yeah.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No, it's not. Because the thing is, normally it's a split bun, right? We're gonna get technical here. It's a split bun.
Yeah.
And so a sandwich, in my mind, is you got a separate piece of bread, then you got the meat and the cheese and the lettuce, whatever they and you have another separate piece of bread to literally sandwich the stuff. Whereas this, you're kind of like the hot dog bun is cradling.
Oh, I like that. I haven't heard that. It's cradling it.
It's cradling it.
It's a little bed for the hot dog.
That's right. That's what it is. So no, I don't think it's a sandwich.
I enjoyed that one.
Yeah, I know. It's my hot take.
This is awesome. It's been so fun hanging with you.
It's been great.
Thanks for sitting down,
Yeah.
chatting, learning about all the exciting stuff that's going on in your life.
Thank you.
We'll throw up a bunch of stuff. You guys watch Confessions
Confessions by Connie.
by Connie.
Yep.
It's fantastic. It's on the YouTube.
It is on the YouTube. It is, in fact, and you can follow Connie on Twitter and Instagram at Connie Big Balls with a Z. So there's no other Connie Big Balls.
Yeah, and then your Instagram is Amanda_Bruton, right?
That's me. Yeah.
Make sure y'all follow Amanda there. She's always doing something fun, creative.
Yep.
We'll make you cringe a little bit.
Maybe.
But we'll also make you laugh. But stay tuned. We might have a surprise guest
We might.
showing up.
I'm going to see if I can make a call.
All right, make that call.
I will.
Good hanging with you.
Great hanging with you.
Thanks, girl.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Peace out, everybody.
Hanging with Denny.